Hey everybody, I'm Jesse Dollemore. This is One More Thing, and today's One More Thing is about, shocker, about Donald Trump. I really think that we need to go into this next election not ignoring, not shying away from, not having any fear of being rude or untoward about the fact that he is a dumb guy. I've started countless videos. I can't think off the top of my head of how many times I've started just talking about what a dumb guy he is. He's just not intelligent, not intellectually curious. And it is a problem. He's causing problems for our country. And we need to talk about this more. This needs to be a feature of the 2020 election. Going forward into this election, I really hope whoever wins the general election will either do it directly or allow surrogates to talk about it. It's not gauche. It's not inappropriate to discuss how dangerous it is for our country to have a president who is just not with it. Look, it was bad enough when George W. Bush was the president of the United States and wasn't really the sharpest knife in the drawer. We're at a whole different level now with Donald Trump and his level of stupidity, his lack of ability to read from a prompter, his daft nature related to not even United States geography, that's a whole nother thing, but world geography. Watch this clip. It took me 5 minutes to find the clips that I wanted to use to put this together. Watch this. Donald Trump. Dumb guy.
Look at what happened in the 1990s. Our embassies in Kenya and Tanzania, and I'm greatly honored to host this lunch, to be joined by the leaders of Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Ghana, Guinea, Nambia. And we're building a wall in Colorado. We're building a beautiful wall, a big one that really works, that you can't get over, you can't get under. They sacrifice every day for the furniture and future of their children. Authority and authoritarian powers through their lives, and though their lives were cut short. And very importantly, air traffic controllers will and this will be highly valued. These are highly valued people. These are amazing people. Our hope is a word and world of proud, independent nations. Another historic step toward future development and future with a future, a real future. And I have to say, that's a real future. What standard? And really, if you think of it, when you talk about the great sailors and the great sailors of the world, we have them. But what stranded sailor doesn't feel relief? And I hope that this investigation now, which is finished, it's totally finished, no collusion, no obstruction. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. The latest act of resistance is the op-ed published in the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless coward.
Now, here's the deal. And here's why this is so important for going into 2020. Because Donald Trump is so stupid, because he is so daft, because he is so inept intellectually, because he can't handle the cognitive load that would come with a normal president dealing with both domestic and foreign issues, he can't argue his way. He can't make arguments in a policy discussion. So what he does is he fabricates issues that inflame the country, like the Colin Kaepernick thing, like standing or sitting or kneeling or whatever behavior you engage in during the playing of the national anthem. And he has partners, complicit partners in Fox News who are glad, who are gleeful to take up this fight with him. This Super Bowl, the day after the Super Bowl, Monday rolls around, and what do we get on Fox News? What do we get on Fox and Friends with these dinguses? That Beyonce and Jay-Z, entertainers, didn't stand in their luxury box for the national anthem of the United States. They chose to sit. That's news with Fox News because they are complicit with Donald Trump to try to gin up controversy. Something that's not controversial. That people chose to not stand for a song. Yeah, it's the national anthem. It's the anthem of the United States. Who cares? Who cares? This is Fox News rambling on about the important matters of the day.
But did you see that Jay-Z and Beyonce, they sat during the national anthem?
Yeah.
TMZ owns the video.
They did.
I watched it, and it's shot from behind them, and it looks like everyone in their box pretty much was seated, including their daughter.
They did not stand during Demi Lovato's national anthem. His Rock Nation partnered with the NFL to work on entertainment, including the halftime show and social justice initiatives. Jay-Z recently told the New York Times, according to the TMZ story, that he believes Colin Kaepernick was done wrong, but it was time to move on to other endeavors.
Done wrong. He couldn't get on a team, and when they gave him a tryout, he blew it up.
So anyway, they apparently did not stand, according to video that you can see at TMZ. Meanwhile, we had a great time.
And what's really tragic and hilarious and sad and pick your adjective about all of this is the fact that Donald Trump himself, their overlord and savior, the chosen one, the most patriotic man, the man who hugs flags. Watch him the same day, during that same moment of the game. Watch him at Mar-a-Lago. Is he standing with his hand over his heart in earnest contemplation of what the national anthem represents, what it symbolizes for our country? No, he's dancing around like a goof, acting like he's conducting the band, pointing at people, cutting up. Is that respectful? Watch it.
Låt fotograferen, Nickers.
It's like a 5-year-old. They don't mention that. There's no mention of that. They're just focused on, fixated on what 2 black people did during the national anthem. Because that's really what this is about. Disgusting. And we need to do a better job this election talking about this. Because it is dangerous how dumb he is. Not just dangerous because these issues overtake the news and then the real issues don't really get addressed and talked about and discussed at length relative to solving real problems in our country. Not because of that, but because of the fact that he is inept, unavailable intellectually to solve the problems that we need solved. We are going downhill. For instance, the national debt. Donald Trump in 2016 did an interview with Bob Woodward with the Washington Post, famed reporter. And it was a long-form interview, and I'm going to read from a little bit of it. So Donald Trump is rambling on about Japan having nuclear weapons, wanting Japan to have nuclear weapons, and trade deals, and how we're a broke country. And it goes something like this. And these countries are much richer than us. We're not a rich country. We're a debtor nation. We've got to get rid of, I talked about bubble. We've got to get rid of the $19 trillion debt. To which Bob Woodward replies, how long would that take? Donald Trump. I think I could do it fairly quickly because of the fact the numbers. Bob Woodward interrupts and says, what's fairly quickly? Donald Trump, well, I would say over a period of 8 years, and I'll tell you why. Bob Woodward says, would you ever be open to tax increases as part of that to solve the problem of the national debt? Donald Trump says, I don't think I'll need to. The power is trade. Our deals are so bad. Bob Woodward then interjects again, that would be $2 trillion a year if he was to pay that off. And then Donald Trump begins to ramble about trade and nonsense that he knows nothing of. So Donald Trump made a commitment here that he'd be able to pay off the $19 trillion national debt in 8 years under his plans. And instead, the national debt has grown. $1 trillion every single year he's been in office. And listen, the national debt, to be sure, raised during Obama's administration. Absolutely. However, we were coming out of the greatest and most grave economic catastrophe since the Great Depression, leaving the George W. Bush administration. There were reasons to spend money that we didn't necessarily have, to salvage what was left of our economy, to save the economy, to ensure that we didn't plunge into a decades-long quagmire of economic downturn and unemployment, insane inflation and interest rates. That's why. That's why during good economic times, like we are having right now, for the most part, you don't spend more than you have. So when those downturn times do come, you're able to work through it. You're able to navigate those hard waters. That's not what we're doing. Instead, Donald Trump is mortgaging our future and our kids' futures and their children's futures on this tax cut. $1 trillion in debt every single year is insane. And it's because Donald Trump is a dumb guy. He's a moron. He's ill-equipped to do the job. It's not just that he doesn't know what Tanzania is or Namibia, or the fact that Colorado isn't a border state. It's more than that. But these are all points of light that we should be talking about because they lead to and they indicate a much greater, more dire problem for every single one of us. Anyway, that's it. That's it for today. It's going to be... We're up against a big one here. Listen, I know people give me grief when I say no, vote blue no matter who. I said that in a video. And people are pushing back against that. And I really think we ought to be more thoughtful about that particular matter. Like, I'm not supporting Joe Biden's candidacy in the primary. He's not my guy. But if Joe Biden gets the nomination, if Pete Buttigieg gets the nomination, hell, if Delaney were to have gotten the nomination, I would have voted for that guy. Because no one in the field that is running right now would be in a position cognitively or behaviorally or policy-wise to do the damage that Donald Trump is doing. Hungry kids who are having their SNAP benefits, their food stamp benefits taken away, won't be in the dire straits they will be in like they are right now with Donald Trump. People's health care won't be at risk like it is with Donald Trump at the helm, with any of the Democrats that are there. So it's important for those kids that I just talked about, for the people who are in dire straits with medical problems, that need their health care, they need their Medicaid. So I just think that we ought to check our collective privilege that it might not affect you that there are children being ripped away from their parents, maybe to never see their parents again at the border right now under Trump. It might not affect you, but it does affect them. There are very real consequences that don't necessarily affect every one of us that we need to be aware of. We need to keep at the forefront of our minds that just because we're not affected in the way that other people are affected by Donald Trump doesn't mean those problems aren't real. And if your candidate doesn't get the nomination, whether it be Bernie or whether it be Elizabeth Warren, we need to step up and do what we can do individually to give power to the collective to get Donald Trump out of office. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. As I always do when I end these videos, I would ask that if you are in a financial position to do so and you're interested, if I bring any value at all to you at all, think about becoming a channel member. Click on the join button to become a channel member for $1.99 or $4.99 a month. Every little bit goes a tremendous distance in production and keeping the lights on, as they say. And right now, independent media, I think, is more important than ever to combat the state of the world that we're in. So anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time. Bye.